December 12th, he had picked me up for one of my jobs. We go back to his place. You know, we're talking. Everything was good. And then a while ago back, before he had picked me up December 12th, I was supposed to meet up with him at a bar, and he had never showed up. So I had texted one of his friends just saying hi, you know, having a conversation. And I had told him the truth on the phone when he was supposed to come down there, and he was pissed the fuck off. And he was just being a total dick, and, like, he wouldn't stop bringing it up. And he's like, oh, I don't appreciate you talking to my friends or people I work with. Like, you don't need to be talking to those people. The night of December 12th, he picks me up. I'm in a good mood. Everything's going good. And then he starts bringing up the fact about how I had texted one of his friends and he didn't appreciate that. And he had told me this multiple times. You don't need to tell me multiple times. Like, I already know. Like, you tell me once, okay, I had apologized for it. I felt bad. And I told him I wouldn't do it again. But he still wouldn't stop bringing it up. So once we get back to his place, we pull in. We're arguing. And then he's told me that he had slept with someone. And I was just like, oh my God, like, you clearly don't want to save this relationship. You clearly don't want to work stuff out. Separate ways. He goes back to his place. I go back to my friends. Then I decide to take a walk. And then I called him, started to try to, like, piss him off. Basically, like, oh, that you slept with someone. I know what this means. And then he goes outside, bangs on my friend's door. And he's like, where are you going? I'm like, none of your business. I'm taking a walk. He's like, who's picking you up? Doesn't matter. Well, I'm walking around. And then at one point, we're in the courtyard. I come in the courtyard. I see him. We're both on the phone, and then he gets off the phone, and I'm standing there just, like, laughing, trying to piss him off. He comes running, and he hits me in the chest, and when he hit me, he hit his head into my chest, and I fell back. This dude's 6'4". I'm 5'10". So he hit me pretty hard, and I hit the ground. I was crying. I was scared. He took my phone. He took my keys. And, you know, he got me off the ground, and he's like, well, come on, let's go back to my place. At that point, I didn't want to go back to his place because I was scared and I was crying. And, you know, I was about ready to walk the other way, but he wouldn't let me because I had my phone and my keys. And I was just like, you know, forget about my phone and keys at this point. Like, I care more about my life at this point. So he's like, well, that's not the right way. So he directs me back to his place. We try to talk stuff out. We're just arguing at this point. And then at one point, he spits in my face, and he's like, you deserve that. And when when I fell to the ground, he's like, oh, I slept. You didn't slip, dude. You don't just run up to someone intentionally and shove your head in your head into their chest. Like, you did that intentionally. We're still arguing after he spits in my face, and, like, he throws a towel on my face, and then he cleans off my face, and then he felt bad, but in reality, he's just like, you deserved that. He's like, that wasn't right, but you still deserved it. So he went through my phone a couple times that night. So it was like, oh, who's this guy? Who's that guy? Who's this guy? I'm just like, they're friends. Like, why do you care? And he finally let me go, and I leave. And then I go back to my friends, and then I try to call him to try to see if we can talk things out again. That's where things go. So I come back. We're still arguing. He's getting ready to go for a drive because he wanted to calm down. We got into it. He took my phone again. And then I don't know what was going through my head. I have struggled with cutting for a long time. For about 10 years. So I don't know what I was thinking through my head at that point. So I ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, started hurting myself. There was also a point where I'd ripped up some of his papers, try to get him out of my phone, because he had threatened to break it, which I do have that on audio, and I am going to share that. While I was ripping up his papers, if I remember correctly, I still had the knife in my hands. He was like, you better not rip that stuff up, and I did. And then I was about to rip up a painting that he had, and then I stopped because I realized that had memory to it, so I stopped. He made me pick it all up because he threw my phone on the ground and almost smashed it. And also, he did throw it against the wall that night. He starts making me pick it up because I'm trying to save my phone because I don't need to pay for a new phone because an iPhone is not cheap. So I start picking up the papers, and I grabbed some of them. And at that point, he wouldn't let me go. So I'm trying to get out of there. So there's a bathroom in his place that connects to his room and then to the hallway. So there's two different entrances. I run through the entrance through his room, into the bathroom, and then he runs to the hallway and he meets me in there. And then that's when he's super pissed off, and then he grabs my neck and slams me back into the mirror and starts squeezing, and he was choking me, and I could not breathe for a while, and I was scared at that point. And he could have killed me. He could have, and I didn't know what to think. Like, I was just, like, how could someone do this to you? Like, how could somebody put their hands on you and think that's okay? When I was able to break it through the door, I made it to the door. I threw the papers on the mat of his place, and then he came out. I still had the knife in my hand, and then somehow, I don't know if we were wrestling around. I don't remember exactly, but I remember him grabbing the knife because I had it in my hand and I was struggling, and he had bent it. And later on in the police report, he tried to say that I stabbed him when I did not stab him. Like, it literally, how can someone stab you? Like, a stab wound literally is like that. Like, a cut on your, like, that's not even a stab wound. That night, I ended up calling the cops. We both had to file a police report, and the police were going to let me know if charges were being pressed. So, ended up going to the prosecuting attorney. And then after that, we were really never going to talk to each other again, and we were just going to let it go to the prosecution, let them take care of it. And then I think, if I remember correctly, he texted me a few days later saying that, you know, he felt bad, or like he was trying to blame this all on me, but at the end of the day, he was trying to say, I don't want to go to court because of this. Like, I think we should just drop the charges and you just move on. And I was like, okay, that's fine, we'll drop the charges. We had tried to meet up so many times to drop the charges, and he just never made the time, or he just never wanted to. And then a week after the assault, he let his ex-girlfriend move back in, and that's where this caused problems. John had let Jane move back in when, before him and me started dating, John was bitching about Jane all the time, complaining about her, how she did this, she did that, how Jane stole John's stuff and, you know, drove him off the wall. She also stole money from him. Why are you going to let somebody move back in who stole your shit and who caused you problems in the first place? His lame excuse was, oh, it's going to help me pay rent and help me get my license plates. Because at the time, he didn't have his license plates. He had temp tags still on his car that were from October, and he wasn't able to get them. So, I don't know what to tell you on that one. Apparently, even after when he had let her move back in, he still had feelings for me. You know, I tried to, like, I was over it for, like, 2 weeks, and I just had moved on, and then, you know, we chatting again, and, like, you know, I just wanted to be friends and be on good terms at that point, because, like, I was like, you know, we don't ever have to date again. Like, you know, we can be on good terms, but, like, you know, this whole situation is just so messed up. It was just a bunch of bullshit, texting back and forth. And he told me, he's like, oh, I'm not sleeping with her. I'm not doing any of this with her. Come to find out, I'm walking my friend's dog one day, and I see the two on the steps. He runs down the steps. Well, he was upstairs. She was downstairs. He ran back downstairs like he was trying to hide something, and I called him out and started yelling at him for it, and then he sends me a text, and yeah. Don't quote me on this, but I'm not 100% sure. But my guess is she had gotten back together with him the day she had moved in. And that was his plan originally. While he was with me, you know, he was just using me to get over her. Because also the other funny thing is I made sure that he blocked her on everything. Come to find out, he didn't block her on everything. The only thing he blocked her on was Snapchat and his phone number. He didn't block her on Instagram. He didn't block her on Facebook. And he tried to claim that, oh, I didn't know she had this stuff. Yeah, you did. You didn't block her. My guess is you were probably talking to her while I was at work. You were planning on getting back with her. You were just using me to get over her. You were planning on getting back with her. Like, why? Why would you do that to someone? At that point, if he wanted to get back with her, that was fine. You know, if he's happy with her, that's fine. I just wanted to drop the charges with him, so neither one of us would have to go to court and have to deal with this. But you know what? It never came to that, because he started harassing me. She started harassing me. The last time we had talked, I believe, was 2 days after Christmas. And here's the interesting. On Christmas, we had exchanged gifts on the 24th. And he came up, kissed me, hugged me, and acted like he cared. But in reality, he was just putting on a show. And my friend Joey and his mom were there. And John just did all this to put on a show. Like, he got me this bag for Christmas, which, I like the bag. Thank you. Appreciate it. Use it for some point. But we exchanged gifts. And you act like we're cool. And you're just putting on a show. And then 2 days later, you call me to complain while I'm at work and say that I came over to your place and slept with your roommate. Nuh-uh. This was all his girlfriend, Jane, saying this. Because Jane was trying to put things in his mouth. And honestly, she should have just stayed out of the situation between me and him. It was none of her business. I get it. If you're just trying to be a supportive, girlfriend, that's fine. But in the end of the day, what gone on between us was our business. Like, stay out of it. And the thing about this situation, 2 weeks later, like, you break up with me 2 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks after that, how do you get back with your ex-girlfriend? And it's like, okay, fuck her, like, and you're like, just like, cool. No, like, even like before we started dating, like, he just wanted to get back into a relationship. And I kind of noticed, like, he just jumps girl to girl to girl. And it seems like he just moves so fast after a breakup because he doesn't like being lonely, which I get it. Being lonely sucks, but like, how does somebody do that? And these are the messages that she sent me. She's blocked on everything. So I want nothing to do with Jane. I see her around every now and then, but I want nothing to do with her. So here they are. I had also forgot to mention December 12th, I ended up in the hospital for the cutting because the police had taken me down there, and I was almost admitted to the psych ward, but I lied my way out of there so I could get out of there because work was important to me. And he apparently told me that he told the police that, that her job's important to her, like, I don't want her going to the hospital, like, I care about her. No, you don't. You didn't care about me. You didn't care about me one bit. Like, you and me were trying to work on being on good terms. But no, you wanted to sit around here and be a little asshole and not work stuff out and just be immature as can be. Not to mention, Jane's like 10 years older than me, and she's bullying someone who's 10 years younger than her. Like, why? December 27th was the last time I talked to him. I haven't spoken to him since. And they're back together. I really don't care. I told him it was a terrible idea to let her move back in anyways, but he didn't listen to anyone, and none of his friends liked her, which I don't really care. He had this relationship good. He had a good relationship, and he all dropped it just for her. We were only together for a month. But anyways, I have those audio clips, and I'm going to share those now.
No one.
What's up with the GPS?
I have a GPS on my phone, okay? There's no one.
Prove it.
There's no one.
Prove it.
There's no one.
Then get the fuck out.
Oh.
You can't prove it, get the fuck out.
There's... Cool.
Prove it.
There's no one.
Prove it.
You're not going through my phone.
Prove it, or I take it and I smash it against the fucking wall.
No.
No. I had tried to hide what I was doing so he didn't know what I was doing. But like I said, he's probably going to see this video at some point. To be honest, I don't care because charges are never going to get dropped. They're either going to go to court. The prosecution's either going to decide one of us is guilty, or they're just going to drop it all together because it's a he said, she said, and there was no witnesses. And then here's the audio recording from me of me speaking about what happened.
But instead, he pushed me on the ground, ran into me, lied to me about the fact that he was sleeping with someone else when he was, calling me all these names, spat in my face, threw shit at me, and yeah.
That's the audio clip. Really, what I learned from this situation, honestly, is before you start to date someone, get to know them, give it time, learn about them. If you don't feel like they're the right person, don't go for them. Because when I had first met him, And, you know, I thought this was the right guy for me. I really did. Like, when we were dating and everything was going good, I thought about marriage. I thought about our future. We had talked about living together, everything. You know, he met my family. I met his family. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why are you like this? Like, he had previous exes that had cheated on him and that treated him terribly, but he tried to compare me to them, and I'm like, that's not me. Like, he had a good relationship, he had a good girl, and he gave that all up to go back to Jane. So it doesn't matter. He's never going to be with me again. I'm never going to see him again. I'm never going to talk to him. So that's the end of it. I mean, if there's any updates, I'll let you guys know, but otherwise, that's really the end of it. I don't want to see somebody else get treated like this. Nobody deserves to go through this. So yeah, if you're in an abusive relationship, get out of it. I know it's hard, as much as it's been hard for me, because I've been depressed and I'm trying to get over this, and I thought sharing my story would help me vent about it. You know, don't be in this situation. Get yourself out of it as soon as possible, because it's not worth dealing with this. So thanks guys for watching. If there's any updates, I'll let you guys know. But anyways, I'll be posting more videos here soon. Thanks guys.